So, welcome everyone to today's lecture. So, today our topic is just to find out if the child who has come to our clinic has pneumonia or not. That is the only aim of today's topic. And we won't be going into details of pneumonia, but just to get an overall picture and to understand the timely referral and just to diagnose pneumonia. Now, importance of this topic, like why is it important to know pneumonia? It is very important to diagnose this condition first of all, because if pneumonia goes into complication, it can be life-threatening for the patient. So, to avoid any cases, like to avoid misdiagnosis, to avoid misdiagnosis. Now, what is the meaning of missed diagnosis? The meaning of the meaning of missed diagnosis is that we have not diagnosed pneumonia and we're treating this patient as a upper respiratory tract infection. And within 1 week, he ends up with a LRTI and he ends up into complications. So, just to avoid this missed diagnosis of pneumonia, you must know how to diagnose and what are the signs of pneumonia. Second point is a timely referral. That means we must be in such a position to timely refer this patient to a hospital if needed. For example, if this patient is of pneumonia having some kind of complications, so we must know what are the signs of the complications. We must know that okay, if these signs are present, this patient we cannot keep him at our OPD level. He needs a hospital support. So to understand the timely referral and contribution to overall cases. Now, what is pneumonia? Pneumonia is a most common infectious disorder. It is the most common infectious disorder causing death in children. Pneumonia. It is the most common infectious disorder causing death in children and especially contributing 15% to overall under 5 mortality rate. Under 5 mortality rate. Those students who are studying community medicine will understand the meaning of this. What is under 5? The meaning of under 5 mortality rate is that the rate or the cause of children who below 5 years of age. So 15% the cause of death of these children who are below 5 years of age is pneumonia. So to avoid this death, we must have a apt to diagnose this condition and to know the signs which require a timely referral. Now, the broad classification of respiratory diseases. There are few diseases that come in the upper respiratory tract and few that come in the lower respiratory tract. So, during treating any patient, we must be aware of these conditions. It's a very basic term. For example, conditions like tonsillitis, pharyngitis, laryngitis, okay, epiglottitis, otitis media, all these conditions come in the upper respiratory tract infections or upper respiratory tract condition, adenitis, adenoids, all the parts which are present above the cricoid cartilage, they come in upper respiratory tract infection, and below the cricoid cartilage, they all come under a lower respiratory tract infection. So children with lower respiratory tract infection have a high chance to go into complication and mortality. Hence, it is important to understand the signs which pertain towards LRTI, that is lower respiratory tract infection. Now, what are the signs and symptoms to diagnose pneumonia? For example, just understand today's lecture in a sense of not going too theoretical. Just you're sitting in your OPD and you have to understand, okay, this is a case of LRTI, I must be careful, I must check for the danger signs. So, first thing is wheezing. Now, if you go according to the Hutchison 28th edition, I think, page number 148. So they clearly say in that book that wheezing is nothing but noisy respiration. For today's lecture, we won't go into details of various signs and symptoms because probably that is well understood only in the book. But in the clinical practice, if you hear noisy respiration, a patient, you have not even auscultated the child, but the child is sitting in front of you and you can hear a noisy respiration, then just pertain that patient as okay, he has wheezing. Or second point is the mother will come and tell you. Sometimes the mother comes and tells in Hindi, I will quote now, बच्चे के छाती छाती में बहुत घरघर होता है. The mother tells that the chest of the child is making a lot of sound. So pertain that symptom to as wheezing. So whenever you get a patient who's telling such a symptom, or the parent is telling that, okay, I hear noises when this child was sleeping last night, or if the patient is sitting in front of you, before examination, you can hear some noisy respiration, label that child as wheezing. And wheezing is one sign of pneumonia. That is wheezing. Again, I'm repeating, we are not going into theoretical because that is best only understood in the book, Crackles Rails. But for just for clinical understanding, a layman understanding, wheezing. Next, very important is respiratory rate. We all know that a normal respiratory rate is about 25 per minute. Okay, that's for adults, you and me. But when it comes to children, it is a bit different. Now, from birth to 2 years, birth to 2 years, if the respiratory rate is more than more than 60 per minute, then this child has a lower respiratory tract infection. Or in simple words, just to categorize, this child is having a faster breathing. That means he is not breathing normally. I repeat again, from birth to 2 years of age, if a child comes to OPD and he has a respiratory rate of more than 60 per minute, then you have to tell, okay, this child has a faster breathing than normal. So far, you know how to tell wheezing. That is just you're hearing the noisy respiration. Second, you come to the respiratory rate. How? What is the criteria? From birth to 2 years, 60 per minute. If from birth to 2 years, this child is around 45, 50. Obviously, he is not 25 per minute. So 45 for a birth to 2 year old child. Sorry, birth to 2 months. I repeat, it's birth to 2 months, not 2 years. Birth to 2 months has to be more than 60 to tell he has a faster breathing. From 2 months to 1 year, if it is more than 50 per minute, then you say this breathing is faster than normal. And from 1 year to 5 year, if it is more than 40 per minute, it is called faster. So yes, this is for adults, 25 per minute. But when it comes to pediatric practice, you have to know these three criteria where birth to 2 months, if it is more than 60 per minute, your patient is breathing faster. If it is from child is from 2 months to 1 year and the breathing is more than 50, he is breathing faster. If a child is between 1 year to 5 year and the respiratory rate is more than 40, then the breathing is faster. For example, if this child comes to you who's 2 years of age and his breathing is 35, his breathing is 35 per minute, then this breathing is not faster, it comes under normal. More than 40 per minute is faster breathing. So this criteria of respiratory rate is not the same of children and adults. This is what you have to follow. So far you came to know wheezing, first sign, second is respiratory rate and the different criteria for different ages. After obviously 5 years, then you go back to 25 per minute. But below 5 years, this is the important criteria. Now, question comes, okay, I told you about respiratory rate, but how will you calculate a respiratory rate? Usually, what do we see in clinical practice, or even we used to do before? We always see our watch and then we look at the child's chest or we look at the child's abdomen. Starting from the basics, when you have to calculate the respiratory rate of the child patient, you how will you calculate? You have to look at the abdominal movements. Abdominal movements. Look or even put your hand. Now, what do we do normally? We look in our watch, and whenever we look in the watch, you miss two counts or one count if the breathing is faster. So always remove your watch from your wrist and place it like here. Place it on the abdomen, and automatic when this abdomen moves in and out, your clock will also move. So your eyes will be on the clock as well as the abdomen. It's a very small thing, but it's a very important practice. Like normally what we do is we keep the wristwatch, so we actually use 2 seconds in looking down and 2 seconds in looking back. So you lost 4 seconds, but your count, you missed that count between 4 seconds. So don't do this practice of looking here then seeing here, not like this. Keep the watch on the abdomen, and then along with the abdomen let your watch also move, so you will come to know the count. And always there's a practice of counting for 15 seconds and multiplying by 4 to calculate the respiratory rate. Again, just starting from basics, अगर आपको respiratory rate count करना है, if you have to count the respiratory rate, 1 minute has 60 seconds. So what people do, they count for 15 seconds and they multiply by 4. But don't do that. Count for the whole 1 minute. Then you get the proper respiratory rate. Fine? Going ahead. Now we got 2 points. One was wheezing, second was the respiratory rate. Now, when a patient has wheezing and increased respiratory rate, depending upon the ages, then you have to classify. Okay, this patient has LRTI, that is lower respiratory tract infection, and till you don't confirm by investigation, you can always write on the paper question mark pneumonia, because you have not done any investigation so far. So yes, you know it's a LRTI, but you don't know which type of LRTI. And obviously, we are not talking about that today. But you always on the case paper, you should write LRTI question mark pneumonia. That means you have not yet confirmed, but you have written on the paper. It is always better to overdiagnose than to underdiagnose. Because if you underdiagnose and you miss, then later on this patient will tell, okay, the doctor did not tell me. So like that, you should mention. Now, if this patient has wheezing, increased respiratory rate, yes, LRTI. But along with that, if he has intercostal indrawing, now what is intercostal? Just for a basic thing, this part of the chest is called as intercostal. Just look at this image on it, this part. This is the intercostal region. If this intercostal is indrawing, that indrawing meaning is going inside while breathing, then this is a sign of severe pneumonia. So far, wheezing and increased respiratory rate was pneumonia, but wheezing, respiratory rate plus intercostal indrawing are signs of severe pneumonia. And always remember, these patients always having intercostal indrawing should be referred to a hospital because they will need support. Now look at this image. This child, this is the intercostal indrawing space. Okay, this is the intercostal space. And now look at the same baby. You can see the indrawing here. So children having a lower respiratory tract infection, that is pneumonia, they will always have this intercostal indrawing, that is the ribs pulling back. And this is a sign of severe pneumonia. If the patient has only wheezing and increased respiratory rate, then that is only pneumonia. But wheezing, increased respiratory rate plus intercostal indrawing is severe pneumonia. And severe pneumonia, you have to refer. You can't treat on an OPD basis. It is a bit risky. Now again, look at this image on your screen. Can you see the image? You can see this part of the child, this part of the chest. The chest is gone a bit inside. Okay, this is in mid inspiration. We have clicked the photo. So this is again intercostal indrawing. Now look at the video on your screen now. This is a patient who's having wheezing. Mother came with complaints of what? Mother told my child has wheezing. Along with wheezing, what has an increased respiratory rate. So now this is one patient. This is patient number one, and this patient has no intercostal indrawing. It's a normal patient with a slight congestion, but there is no intercostal indrawing. But this patient, that is patient number two, he has intercostal indrawing. Okay, please see the intercostal indrawing. It will come on your screen. Yes, there. And the ribs just go inside, and this is normal. So this fine diagnosis you have to know what is intercostal indrawing. Now, this child also has the same complaint, but he is not severe pneumonia. He is pneumonia or he is having a LRTI. But the previous child, again the video will play. That child is having a intercostal indrawing, and that is a severe pneumonia. Last time they see that it will start. This is the intercostal indrawing. I hope you can notice that intercostal indrawing which you saw. So it's very important to examine the child even from the side, not only from the front. Now you will see this is a patient of severe pneumonia, and you check the intercostal indrawing now. So this is typical intercostal indrawing that you are seeing out here. Okay, increase respiration. If you place your hand here, watch here, you understand how the child is breathing so fast. So this is a patient having intercostal indrawing with severe pneumonia, and that is why you have to refer this patient, because look at the condition of the patient. Okay, he's soon going to go to cyanosis as well. So these patients require ventilative support. You have to refer these patients, and they should not be treated at OPD level. I hope you are able to pick up the signs. Now, what we studied so far, what did we study? We studied a wheezing, that is noisy respiration. We studied a increased respiratory rate. different for different ages. We studied intercostal indrawing. Okay, intercostal indrawing. When a patient has these two signs only, yes, you can tell it pneumonia. But when he has plus this sign, it goes into severe cases. And if you have plus CCF, now what is CCF? That is having all these signs plus signs of CCF. CCF is congestive cardiac failure. Okay, because of no treatment in time, thus these patients who are having wheezing, increased respiratory rate, and intercostal indrawing, if they do not get prompt management at this stage, they go into CCF. And what is CCF? It is a congestive cardiac failure. So now don't go again into details of congestive cardiac failure. Just imagine you are in your OPD and you have to pick up signs, because if a patient comes to you and you have to know, okay, this is a sign of CCF, I must not treat him at OPD level, I must refer this patient. So what are the signs of CCF? There will be pedal edema, liver enlargement, and prominent neck veins. Prominent neck veins. So these are the three signs of CCF: a pedal edema, a liver enlargement. Now why liver enlargement? Because there's a right heart failure. So because of the portal supply, the liver will be an enlargement. And you'll have prominent neck veins. The child while breathing, you can see a prominent neck vein. So these are signs of CCF. So for example, a patient comes to your OPD with wheezing and RR, then yes, you must give medicine. You can treat this patient very well. Even a patient comes with intercostal indrawing, you can treat, but there's a risk of this patient going into complications. It's always better to refer. That is called timely referral. And if you have a patient with CCF, now to know that a patient is CCF, you must know these three signs. Then only you will know, okay, I must not treat this patient at OPD basis, should refer to the hospital. So for pneumonia, you must know such a basic thing. Now summary, like what do we want to summary through this lecture is that a patient comes to you having fever plus cold plus cough, fever plus cold plus cough. Okay, there is no wheezing, no wheezing. If there is no wheezing, obviously there will be no IC indrawing and there will be no chest congestion. So this patient is a patient of upper respiratory tract infection. It's a home based medical management. That means you give the medicine to the patient and he can go home. He can be at home and this patient will be fine. Second patient comes to you, fever plus cold plus cough plus wheezing plus no IC indrawing. Okay, so IC indrawing is not there. There is no intercostal indrawing. So this is the patient what I showed you on video, the second video, where you only congestion is there, but the ribs are not going inside. So there is no IC indrawing. This patient is, yes, it's not a URTI, it's a lower respiratory tract infection. Yes. Why? Because the mother gave history that, yes, sir, from the chest, there's a lot of noisy respiration and there is cough. So that's a LRTI. This also home based medical management. But along with home based medical, you have to do a proper follow up to check if he does not develop ICU drug, because he may develop if the treatment is not correct. Third patient comes to you, fever, cold, cough, wheezing, plus IC indrawing. That's the image that I showed you, the video, sorry. Plus IC indrawing. This patient, obviously, it is LRTI, but which type of LRTI? It's a severe LRTI. That was only normal lower respiratory tract infection. This is a severe lower respiratory tract infection. Why severe? Because you got a patient with intercostal indrawing. This patient should have hospital management. This patient should have hospital management. Sometimes what do we do? Enthusiastically, we try to treat these patients, and if this patient goes into complication, then that's not a good scenario. So, if you see a patient with ICU indrawing, go for a hospital management. Next, the fourth patient comes to you, fever plus cold plus cough plus wheezing plus IC in drawing plus pedal edema plus liver enlargement plus prominent neck veins. Obviously, this patient will go into hospital. What will be the diagnosis of this case? If this was severe LRTI, this will be a severe LRTI with complications. So this patient, obviously you have to refer to hospital with complications because he started going into failure with pedal edema, liver enlargement and prominent neck veins. So why I'm telling LRTI not pneumonia? Because before you diagnose it through the lab reports, you will call it as LRTI question mark pneumonia. By chance you do the lab reports like you do a CBC, a CRP, and a chest X-ray. Again, we won't go into details of X-ray reading and all, but I'll just tell you in short. CBPC, the neutrophils will be high infection. CRP again indicating infection will be positive. Chest X-ray will show pneumatic patch. So if all these signs are positive of pneumonia, then you can replace the LRTI with pneumonia. But till you don't confirm, you can write LRTI question mark pneumonia. That means you are suspecting pneumonia with complications. So this is the way you have to diagnose, and after diagnosing a patient, you will decide if this patient will stay at your clinic or he has to go to a hospital. So this is the easy way to diagnose pneumonia and how to go about the treatment. Treatment means at home, at your clinic or in the hospital. Now, it's the same thing what we have understood. Now I'll just tell you in a more theoretical way. Now, this is the approach that every doctor has to follow. Approach to a child with difficult breathing. As per IMNCI, this is the integrated integrated management of neonatal and childhood illness by WHO, World Health Organization. What do WHO do? They form a guidelines. What is this guideline? This guideline says the integrated management of neonatal childhood illness. So these guidelines for every illness, the WHO gives some guidelines, and India has accepted these guidelines. So we have to follow these guidelines while treating such cases. So if a case this according to these guidelines, if a child comes to a clinic with difficulty breathing, what do you have to do? Assess first. You have to first assess the respiratory rate. Now, you know how to assess the respiratory rate. That is from birth to 2 months. If it is more than 60 per minute, yes, LRTI. From 2 months to 1 year, if it is more than 50 per minute, yes, LRTI. From 1 to 5 years, above 40 per minute, yes, LRTI. So you have assessed the respiratory rate. Now, this second point says look and hear for wheeze. Wheezing, I told you, noisy respiration, simple. Yes, you saw that. You know how to look. That is, look, that means obviously you have to hear, and with the history, the mother will tell you noisy respiration. Third point, look for IC in drawing. Yes, you know how to look for IC in drawing, you saw in the video. And the fourth point is look for danger signs. So these are the 4 points given by IMNCI, that is the Integrated Management for Neonatal and Child Illness by WHO. So according to these guidelines, you know everything. So any patient next time comes to you with difficulty breathing, you have to look for these guidelines. And how to look for these guidelines, you have understood. Yeah. So someone is asking how about oximeter? Yeah, oximeter will give you the correct saturation, but what are the other parameters? Like you have to even check for respiratory rate. If a oximeter gives you below 90, yes, that is a lesser saturation, but this is the overall criteria. Now, when they make these guidelines, especially for India, we always look for rural pay. Now, whatever I spoke to you about referral and all, this comes to the rural practice where there are Anganwadi and Asha workers working. So these workers have been taught like that. कि आप respiratory rate देखो. They are not even learned. They are taught to check the respiratory rate. They are taught to check the ICN rank. And once this happens, they are told to give a one dose of ampicillin and gentamicin and send the patient to a hospital. So this mainly is for those workers who work at the rural practice, because our country is mainly based for that practice. So at that level, these four signs. Now, why these guidelines are made? Because this is so simple that even a person who's not from a medical field will be able to diagnose that this is a case that should be in a hospital. So hence such guidelines. Now the last point is a danger sign. So what is danger sign? Now we should know what are the danger signs. What danger sign? The first is child not feeding. Child not feeding. Obviously, if the child is having a lower respiratory tract infection, the child will not be able to suckle the milk. So many a times parents come with only one complaint. They come with only one complaint that they tell in Hindi, "बच्चा दूध नहीं पी रहा है," or in English they tell the child has stopped drinking milk. So they are coming with the focus that child has stopped drinking milk. But when you just open the shirt of the child, you check the respiratory rate, you check the ICN drawing, and you hear the wheeze. So then you tell the parents that the problem is not that the child is not feeding. The problem is that the child has cough in the chest. That is why he's not able to breathe, and the fact that he's not able to breathe, so he's not be able to suckle for a long time. Hence, child not feeding is one of the danger signs. The second danger sign is persistent vomiting. Persistent vomiting, child going into convulsions, cyanosis. These are the danger signs and signs of CCF. So these are according to the guidelines by WHO. So why I told you the guidelines afterwards? Because whenever you first read the guidelines, you feel it is so difficult to understand this. So first we understood the basic, like what is respiratory rate, what is wheeze, what is ICU drawing, and what are the danger signs. Then you come and read what they have told WHO. This is the same thing what you practice. So tomorrow, if anyone asks you how are you treating a case of LRTI, this is according to the guidelines given by the WHO for doctors to follow. So this is all about pneumonia. Now this was actually not all about pneumonia. This is only how to diagnose pneumonia. So today our topic was, does this child have pneumonia? Yes. If pneumonia, does he have severe? If yes, how when to refer and looking at what signs to refer. So this was all about pneumonia, of how to diagnose pneumonia, or does this child have pneumonia. The treatment part and the management part we studied some other lecture. Thank you everyone. If anyone has any doubt, you can ask here or on our WhatsApp group.